Welcome to the Porter & Company Black Label Podcast, your home for provocative insights that lead to lasting wealth. And here are your hosts, Porter Stansberry and Aaron Brabham.
I want to start with a real quick story. When I was trying to build this place back in 2013, I was still on what the government calls the financial bad actors list. Never mind that I'd built the largest independent financial research company, and I'd served investors faithfully for 20 years by that point. The dispute that we had over this stock called USEC still lingered, and it was impossible for me to open a banking account or get a mortgage. And we were building the main structure, and as anyone knows, if they have a private company, there are quarters where your cash flow disappears, and I wanted to keep the builder on time and on schedule, so I called my friend and I said, "Hey, can I borrow $1 million until next Tuesday?" And I'm like, I'm telling you, your underwriters aren't going to understand it. It's a 130-acre property. There's no structure here. It's basically my word. And he said,
absolutely, yes.
And,
in credit, the number one C is character, and we all know Porter's a character.
Anyways, I, of course, paid him on time and in full, and I wrote him a thank you letter.
He did. It was beautiful. I've still got it, both physical and on email.
He said that I was the only person who ever wrote him a thank you note for a loan.
Right. No, it was a great pleasure to do that. When you look at a lot of banks, they put everything in a box, and they have to be all the dots in the box. But you know what? Sometimes that C, which actually does stand for character, comes through, and that's what we did the loan on.
Well, I wanted you to tell us a little bit about Battle Bank. I know it's a project you've been working on for a number of years now, and I know some people who are already involved in it, but I think it's a great idea. Can you give us the elevator pitch?
Sure. Do real quick. We started EverBank in 2000, sold that to TIA in 2017, and I retired. And as your former colleague, Dennis Miller, said, you're going to flunk retirement. And so a couple years later, TIA was kind enough to abandon our target market. If you would look to your left, to your right, behind you, and in front of you, that's our market. And I called Rick Rule, who some of you may know, great friend, and I said, Rick, I think we ought to do this again. He was winding down from Sprott, and I was out of EverBank. And he said, well, it took a long time. It took about 3 sentences. And he said, sure, let's do it. And I called a couple of the old cronies from EverBank, director of operations, our marketing director, some of the other people, put some retirement people in place. And now we're building Battle Bank. And it took a long time to get our license. Government does take a little while to get stuff done. Maybe some of you appreciate that. But we have all our approvals. We're at the last seconds of our capital raise, and we're going to acquire a little bank in Minnesota as our platform. Now, it's a $50 million bank. It's a community under 500 people. That's not going to be our big thing. We'll rename it Battle Bank, NA, and we'll launch the national program. So that's the beginning of it, and I think you'll all appreciate what we're doing with high-yield cash, with precious metals, with currencies, and great retirement accounts.
Yeah, the one thing that that interests me about Battle Bank, and this is going back to your platform many, many years ago, is that they make it really easy for you to switch between cash and metals and different currencies. Mm-hmm. And as a result, you can get a much higher effective yield than you can at, PNC Bank or, heaven forbid, Bank of America. And I don't really know how you guys make that magic happen, but it's really good for depositors. So if you have a need for at least some of your capital to be in a bank for things like bill paying services and whatnot like that, I would really encourage you to check out Battle Bank's consumer offering once it's up and running. And of course, if you're interested in being an investor, the EverBank deal turned out pretty well.
The early investors, and I got the lawyer sitting on my shoulder here, and I don't want to be a bad actor either, so I have to ask Porter for a loan. But we're going to have, we had the early investors in EverBank Financial. We're probably in the 25, 30x. Later on, of course, we had many rounds, so people did very well. Went public in 2012 and doubled it from there to 2017. So I think it went well. And, it's funny, Porter says, I don't know how you do the magic. He called me in 2000 and said, how the hell are you doing this? And we had about a 45-minute conversation and I explained it. I guess I didn't do a very good job, but we are able to do that, and we're going to continue to do that.
Well, anyways, big fan of Battle Bank. If people want to learn more, want to see the prospectus, where do they go?
Well, a couple things. We got a prospectus on the table back there. Due to timing, the rest of the world will shut down our offering tonight at 11:59. Now, for you guys, you have all the time in the world. You have 3 days. But you go to battlebank.com/farm. So think of Porter's Farm, battlebank.com/farm. You got to have all your stuff in and the wire in by the 1st or 2nd. It just happens to be when it's happening. I would have liked to back this up about 3 weeks and we could have got a lot more done. But we'd love to have you in because our whole philosophy that Rick and I have been talking about is our community. We're a national community bank without regard to geography, but our shareholders are our clients, and our clients are our shareholders. We didn't take any big private equity money. We raised just under $100 million. But it's been from folks like yourselves and myself and our management team, and of course, Rick and our other lead investors. So love to have you come in. More importantly, join the wait list, because in the first year, it's unlikely you'll be a client unless you're on the wait list now. We got about 18,000 people queued up. They email me on average about twice a week each, and they say, when are you going to open? It's going to be soon. So join the wait list, bring your capital in, and we'll love to get together.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing about this. I'm normally extremely skeptical of any kind of private equity deal or any kind of private business, but there is one exception, and that is when you have the opportunity to invest with a proven entrepreneur in the same line of work, you should do it. Now, when a very successful entrepreneur in something like financial publishing decides to launch a razor business, you want to avoid that deal. I can show you how to lose $10 million building a great razor, though. If you're interested, I'll tell you all about it. But I know that Battle Bank is going to be a huge success. They've got a very loyal customer base. They've got a great shareholder base. And I would really encourage everybody to go to battlebank/farm.
Battlebank.com/farm.
Battlebank.com/farm to learn more. You can also get a prospectus in the
That'll come up tonight at midnight. You can go to /invest until then.
All right. So anyways, that's the Battle Bank story. That's Frank Trotter. Thank you, Frank.
Yep, it's fabulous. Thank you.
The second guest we have up here today is my son, Traveler. Now, how many people remember Traveler from last year's conference? All right, a couple of people. He picked Procter & Gamble, which has underperformed the market. So we're never allowing him to pick, no more stock picking for my son, Traveler. But I wanted him to tell you about a really neat project that he's involved in. He's a senior in high school. And he just started his first business.
First, buy NVIDIA, please. It's going to do very well, I think, in the long term. So
it's not razors, is it?
No, it's not razors. No. So it'll not lose $10 million. But I'm Traveler. I go to St. Paul's. I'm a senior. And over the summer, I was messing around with this AI coding software. And it's basically a software that allows you to talk English into a robot, and it prints code. So I can tell it whatever I want it to make, and it will do it for me. And I started wondering if I could make a homework tracker for students that uses student data with AI to make the process of learning better for students. Quick backstep. Most students in the country, not most, but over 2 million use this product called Canvas. And Canvas is a software that's run by the administration of schools to handle all academic content.
Let me interject just one thing. How many people in the room have ever heard of Canvas, the education software? Wow, I didn't expect that many people to have known what it is. Just so we're all on the same page, Canvas runs students' lives. It has their schedule, has their homework assignments. Traveler, I don't use it, but it's a really incredible software that people use in college and at a lot of high-quality high schools.
Yeah, so it's like I said, there's over 2 million people in the world that use it, and it makes a lot of things easier for teachers, especially because they can create an assignment and then they can have students do the assignment and then post it into a Dropbox for submission and then grading. So my idea was, what if we could take this concept and instead of having students just use this to submit assignments, what if we could have it help them learn how to do the assignments and how to help them get better at doing the assignments? Sort of. So who knows what an API key is? Couple. So an API key is basically a token that allows anyone into a specific data set. So Canvas has one that they give to students that students can use to access their own data. And so what I've done is I've created an application that reads the data from students and from their assignments and uses AI to analyze it. Currently, it can make flashcards for you based on whatever assignment you want. It can create short videos that explain content. So let's say you have a calculus quiz coming up on integrals and you have no idea what's going on. You can ask AI, hey, make a video for me on calculus with this specific content like my teacher, and it will do it for you. It can create multiplayer quizzes that students can collaborate on and gamify, essentially. And the whole application is gamified. So you get coins and rewards for completing assignments, and this promotes education for students and incentivizes them.
It also promotes gambling because you get to bet on what your fellow students' grades will be.
You can play Hold'em with your friends online and at school, which is super fun. Especially at my school now, they've banned phones, so we have no freedom at all to do anything we want. And so,
The world's tiniest violin.
I'm 18. It's pretty essential.
So can I summarize real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got 2 million students using Canvas. Canvas has the data set, what every single student is doing every single day in school. Travelers built an app that grabs hold of that information for each student and then produces all of the study guides, all the flashcards, all the practice tests that they will need to get through that day of school, that week of school, that month of school. But not only that, it's gamified so that the more things they do, the more and the better they do in school, the more coins they get on the system. And then they can use those coins to not only get through higher level of the application to get more benefits, they can also gamble with those coins based on parlaying who in their class is going to do well.
The other important part is that every other application like this is all run by administrations. Students don't trust administrations to know what they're doing with AI. Like if I'm an 18-year-old, I'm going to use AI however I want, and that typically does not align with the school's values. And so in my application, no data ever goes back to administrations or Canvas. It's all stored in my data set so students can use it however they like. I just give them, I'm basically telling you that they can cheat. Yeah.
Who remembers that my first newsletter was called Pirate Investor? It's Pirate Canvas over here. Anyways, I'm super excited to see what he can do with that. And for those of you in the room who are in software development or are interested in this project, I hope that you'll grab Traveler, take him aside and offer him whatever kind of guidance or mentoring that you can. It's his first business. This is his first software product. So I'm sure he's going to make some mistakes along the way, and it would be great if our community would help him out. Of course, it would mean the world to me.
And if you don't think AI is going to become a big part of our society, I would highly recommend you read AI 2027. It was written by the biggest names in AI software production, and they know what they're talking about, and they have some really scary ideas of what could happen.
Where do they find AI 2027?
Online, just look up AI 2027.
Google AI 2027? Yep. Okay. All right, great. Everyone got some time for questions? Brabsy, this is not an usual Black Label show. I want to make sure that Frank has time to talk to the potential clients, investors, etc. Is it okay if we open it up?
No, absolutely. Let's do that. One thing, have you thought about how you might want to monetize it one day, or just stack as many people in there as you can to use it and it'll monetize itself?
I don't think I'm going to do ads because students really don't like ads. Like, it's really annoying when you hop on Instagram or any social platform and you see a million ads advertising stuff that you don't want and don't care about. And it really looks cheap too. When something has ads on it, it looks cheap. It looks like they're doing all they can to get money. And I don't want it to be like that.
Yeah, I think if you just add as many users as possible, it's all about the user base. And at some point, somebody will want to buy that, probably Canvas.
It needs to stay cool.
You know, on that note, and I know Porter's an avid reader, staying cool, Malcolm Gladwell's books are fantastic about that. So he's talked a lot about how Airwalk lost its brand. I would even say how Under Armour lost its brand by getting cheap and going into these cheap retail stores. So don't be swayed away from that.
Staff who is within earshot, if somebody could bring me an extra cup of ice, I would be eternally grateful. I need something to clink. The question is, would parents have access to Canvas and to Traveler's new application?
Yeah. So the question was, yeah, like my dad said, it was about parent access. Is that correct?
Parents have access to Canvas. I don't know if they would have access to your app.
It kind of depends on the student. If you're under 18, you need parental access to use it. That's a federal guideline for any online product. But I don't know if they would have specific. I don't know if you guys would have access. You could ask them.
And what's the name of the app? Jimmy, I don't care what they say about you. You're all right.
It's called Homework Hatch. It's going to launch in about 2 weeks. We have an Instagram.
Sorry, what's the name?
Homework Hatch.
Homework Hatch? Homework Hatch. I thought it was going to be called Homework Buddy.
I couldn't do it. It was already copyrighted.
Oh, Homework Hatch? Maybe we can work on that name. What about like Homework Genius?
Already copyrighted.
Already copyrighted. Homework Pirate.
Schools won't like that.
Traveler, over here. Homeschoolers, you got a way for us to use it as well?
Good question.
That's a really good question. So right now, it only has data integration with Canvas. We're working on finding alternative methods of basically gathering large data sets and using AI to analyze it. So there's other competitors to Canvas, like Blackboard is one of them, Blackboard, Schoology. For homeschoolers, it would probably look like you take a picture of whatever material you're looking at, and then, or do you have a software that you use?
No, we're on Canvas.
It would probably work then, yeah.
Yeah, so we would have, because we use Canvas through like online classes that my daughter takes. So how would that work if we're not necessarily the school that we're using Canvas through? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. To my knowledge, every student that has Canvas has access to an API key. So if you have that API key, they have all your data, and that's scary. But what's more scary is that you're giving it to me. I'm not.
So if you're on Canvas, you should be able to use the app.
Okay.
Yep.
You do need to come up with a better name, though.
All right.
Homework Hatch.
Thanks, guys.
I guarantee you there's a genius marketer in the audience who has a great name.
I would have to spend another $100 paying for a domain name, so I really don't want to do that. If I can get Homework Buddy to work, I will.
I mean, they also have this thing called AI where you type in, hey, come up with 10 variations
It's
of
only
this
trained
that are
on-
not already taken.
It's only trained on data that is taken. That's the problem.
I'll work on that. I've named a couple things in my day.
Any other questions? Anybody have any questions for Frank?
One of my favorite thing about naming investment research products is if the ideas don't turn out to be as good as you thought they would be, sometimes the audience renames the product. So the first real high-end tech thing I ever did was with Dave Lashmet. and the product was called Diligence. And the idea was we were traveling around to see these tech startups. We were hiring scientists to consult with us, doing a lot of good due diligence. And when some of the things didn't work out, clients called it negligence. The other one we did, does anybody remember Sugarroot Confidential? The idea here was that Steve Sugarroot, who's a great stock picker, was going to get down in the dirt and go look for small caps. Bad idea. Anyways, people told me you should have kept it more confidential. And then there was anytime you say something negative about someone, it gets back to them and is always 100 times worse than whatever you said. So I've had my differences over the years with Mark Skousen, but as a fellow newsletter guy, I love him dearly. I love his family dearly. This is just a joke. His newsletter for years, I think it's probably still around. It's called Forecasts and Strategies. And around the industry, we called it Forecasts and Tragedies.
This guy's practicing all this comedy for his next set. He's killing. Any other questions?
If you're starting Battle Bank, you got to make sure that you win the battle.
Deploy good rates. Fight for better banking.
We got Jason coming over to you, sir.
I have a question for Frank, if that's okay. What is the implicit market cap for the Battle Bank in this offering?
Well, I think it's a startup, so there's no pre-money, post-money valuation, so it'll be in the neighborhood of about $97 million. It's more market value. If you multiply the share price, $550 a share times all the shares, that's about what it turns out to.
Any more questions for me, for Brabsy, for Frank, for Traveler? I know we've had 2 really long days and it's been hot, but I've had a great time. You guys are more than a great audience. You guys have everyone here has been doing business with me for at least 5 years. There are people in the room who've been doing business with me for 20 years. So I'm very, very grateful for the platform that you've given me and the research that we get to do on your behalf. Frank, thanks for all your support over the years.
Thanks so much, Porter.
Yep. And Brabsy, thanks for rejoining the team. We were separated for about 7 years?
Yeah, that's about right. And
I was very lonely.
Yeah, I missed you a lot, and you gave me the call up from the bullpen. And funny, Porter said, Brabsy, I realized that the current team I have, some of them are gone, so I can say that, is not going to get it done. And you have some marketing experience. You built your own diet brand, but you have 6 months. And if we can't make it happen in 6 months, we're toast. And we did it. And thanks to a lot of people over there. Thanks to our staff. Thanks to every single subscriber in here. We would not be here if it wasn't for you guys having faith at the very beginning. We always appreciate it.
I sure hope we'll see you all back here next year. And we're going to keep investing in this conference. We're going to do a lot more live entertainment next year. I'm going to keep making it better and better. You guys all have my direct email. As you know, I will reply directly to you. If you have ideas or ways to make this more attractive, more entertaining, better, ideas for speakers for us to try to get, the more communication, the better. Always happily received. And thank you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you for listening to the Porter & Company Black Label Podcast with your hosts, Porter Stansberry and Aaron Brabham. We'll see you soon.